Welcome back to Between Sundays. Today we're talking about one of our favorite community events, the Back to School Blast. See, every summer, hundreds of volunteers and community partners come together to help local students start the school year with the tools, resources, and encouragement they need to succeed. And this year's event is right around the corner, and we're giving you a behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to make it all happen. Let's dive in. Hi friends, and welcome to Between Sundays. I'm your host, Tori Munier, and I'm really glad you're here. This is a space where we talk about faith in the middle of real life, the moments that don't always make it into Sunday morning. Let's dive in.
School supplies.
So today we're here to talk about the Back to School Blast, which is our church's biggest event. I call it our biggest event here. It probably is one of the largest things we do. So I have some fun guests with me today. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Lynn Huseman. I'm the current chairperson of the planning committee for the Blast and also the finance team lead for the Blast.
And I am Penny Rund, and I am simply the backpack and school supply team leader.
Okay, fun. Well, thank you so much for being here today with me. Why are you involved in the Blast? Can I ask that? Why the Blast?
Why the Blast? I guess I'd take a step back, and when my husband and I moved here a few years ago, I was looking for a church that was involved in the community and involved in doing service work. I wanted to be more hands-on with some of those types of projects. And very quickly, when I started attending the church, I found that there were a lot of service opportunities and a lot of community activities. And so the first year that I was here, I volunteered on the day of the Blast. It intrigued me. I wanted to see what it was about. And then after the Blast, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great event. There was a call for some leadership opportunities. There was a need to spread out some of those leadership tasks. And so I volunteered. And so I've been involved ever since. But it just seemed like a great opportunity to really get into the community and do something good.
Yeah, and remind me, we've been doing this 12
This is
years?
our 13th year.
13th year. Yeah, that's exciting. It's been fun. I have some early memories where it all still fit in our fellowship hall. That's about as early as it was for me. And then I was face painting. That's all I ever did for a few years.
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore. I let other people face. I'm not very artistic when it comes to freehanding a face painting. And then they'd ask for things like Spider-Man and, sorry, we'll try.
You get a kitty cat.
Yeah. How about a star?
Yeah.
So we've been doing this for 13 years, and you mentioned that there are several leaders. How many of you put this event together?
I believe it's 9, right? 9 or 10.
Yeah, I think it's probably 9 or 10, and most of us have co-chairs
Okay.
as well. I think there's probably at least 9.
Yep. So we've tried to spread it out in terms of having different categories, different main groups of tasks that need to be done. So there's a leader for each of those tasks. And then we all come together as a committee. Plus we have Gary Michael, who is involved in different tasks, but he's kind of our missions and outreach team liaison, so that we have that connection, because obviously it's a part of the church's missions and outreach activities.
Why does something like the Back to School Blast matter to our church and to our community?
Well, the Methodist Church, and our church in particular, I think, is all about being in service. So faith without action is meaningless, right? I can't remember what the Bible verse is that says that.
I think it's an Acts or James.
Yeah. So I think that's really important for us to be in service. And we know the Jackson community has a lot of needs. It's a less affluent area than some around, and so we know there are a lot of families in need. And so 14 years ago, I think, when the small group of people in the church decided to create this wellness team, one of the offshoots was the Blast. They were just looking for ways to be in the community, try to identify some needs, try to do what we can. We can't do everything, but we can do some things to address those needs. And this was one of them that had a very small start, but it's really grown.
Yeah, it's a wonderful event. Do you know any of the other history behind the event? I mean, it's been the 13th year, and there's just been a lot of stuff that's happened over the years with it.
I know that Fran Adams, of course, was the one with the wellness team and started it, and it was small. Like you said, I think that maybe they handed out 50 backpacks or something the first year.
I think it was 80 the first year, so pretty small.
And
yeah.
then there were the COVID years, and then that was a drive-through opportunity for people. So I think that it's nice that it's been able to grow, and we've been able to accommodate and grow with it.
Yes.
And address always the needs. It's always an evolving process.
Yeah.
Always. It's every year where we think we have it, quote unquote, perfect, answered all the questions, and then we come back and there's 10 more things to do. But I think it's adapted from that little tiny thing of 80 backpacks to 1,500 backpacks.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Back to School Blast is a beautiful picture of what it looks like to adapt to the needs of the community every year. I mean, like you said, you're giving away over 1,500 backpacks this year, or planning for that. That's incredible.
Yeah, and I think we've looked at different ways to identify and to address needs too. So for example, in the very beginning, I think one of the things that was provided at the Blast was haircuts for kids.
Yeah.
And logistically, when you have more than 80 kids, that just becomes a nightmare. You just can't do that on site, in real time. So a few years ago, we were fortunate that we made a connection with a local beauty school, and they offer, just on their own, they offer free haircuts for kids leading up to school.
Oh.
And so we said, okay, we don't have to do this anymore. So they come and they provide vouchers for people to come and have those haircuts at their location, which is much easier. So we've found ways to do things that doesn't involve us having to do everything when it's really not the best fit. There's a lot of community partners that can do things that we can make possible, but we're not going to be able to do.
Right. Yeah, that's wonderful. I love that. So what do you hope students and families experience when they come to the Back to School Blast?
Honestly, love, respect, dignity, just making them feel heard. One of the things that I know Mission Outreach has focused on coming down from annual conference and things direction is that we need to make more, and the Blast doesn't necessarily do this, but make partnerships with people.
Yeah.
Connections that are deeper than what we do is hand out
Right,
backpacks.
give things, right.
But
Yeah.
we hope that with the community agencies, that maybe partnerships can be made with some of those families, and perhaps us. We hope that some of those people would attend our church, of course, but we want them to learn where to go to have help.
Yeah.
On all different levels, more than of certainly what we can do, and begin that thing of a relational mission rather than just, passing money or items down the pike.
Yeah, that's one thing I will never stop preaching, how important it is to be in relation with one another and to have a village. I mean, we use it takes a village almost too much, to the point where it's kind of minimized what that really means, because it really does take a village, and we're not meant to do life alone. And so I love that we get to step in and try to help people find their people, whether it's us or not.
Yeah.
How many community agencies are coming this year? Do we know?
67.
67.
67. I don't know if that's a record, but it's at least a few more probably than we had last year. So
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
think it's a record.
yeah,
I-
probably.
yeah.
Yeah.
That would be fun. We'll have to ask and see if that's historically the highest number or not, because that's cool.
And I have to say that a lot of that credit needs to go to Melinda Long.
Oh yeah, yeah.
She has been tireless in all year long looking at what agencies would be helpful, to the point where we need to start not giving a priority, but we need to think about where families can get the biggest bang for their buck.
Yeah.
And there are so many agencies out there, and we're looking for the ones that are the best fit for our community, our population that we're trying to serve. But Melinda puts it, I can't imagine how many hours she's put in looking for those community agencies
Yeah.
and
Right.
how we can help students and their families.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I'm so glad that we have people like you both, but also Melinda too. I mean, you're all putting in tireless hours. We here in the office have been watching as you all buzz in and out of the building and do this and I got to do that, and listening to the ministry moment on Sunday too. Just listening to some of the conversations that have been happening. I mean, it isn't just like this is the date. We started planning 2 weeks ago and we'll see you there. I mean, you've been talking about this event since last event,
Yes.
which has just been, I don't think a lot of people understand how much effort you're putting behind something like this. So I love it.
After the blast on the 23rd, all the team members, I'm sure I'm speaking for everybody, we all have anxiety about getting together as soon as possible before things leave our minds so that we can start to address the especially the issues that were not perfect, as well as just planning all over again.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, we do ask all the committee members to kind of jot down, Candy has always called them the glads, sads, and learning opportunities, and take those. We have a meeting scheduled already for August where we'll come together in person as a committee and talk through all of those. What went well? What didn't go so well? What have we learned? Is there anything we think we should do differently? You know, a different way we can reach people, or, you know, just how we operate. We've changed a lot of things over the years because of that. That's how the American One Center came about. Was we had a year, and I think it was the first year that I had volunteered, it was really hot. And there was a thunderstorm that happened right before the event, and it ended just as people were
Yes,
arriving.
I
And we were in
remember.
Horace Blackman Park, and everyone was so anxious about that. And it was just so hot. And so we decided we needed to look for an indoor venue, and that's how the American One Event Center came about, which has been a great blessing. It's been incredible.
Yeah.
To be with them.
It feels like it I don't want to say runs smoother, but just feels, maybe it's because we're not anxious anymore about the weather or about
Right.
how are we getting people from the church to the park safely, and all of those
Right.
things, all those little moving pieces aren't necessary to talk about anymore.
Yeah.
So, moving on, let's talk about some of the stories and impacts. Is there anything that's happened at a back to school blast event that you two have attended, or anybody that has attended that you've heard? Has there been any moment that stayed with you or the team?
I think everyone has some kind of story. I've heard different things. One that was personal to me, I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. We were getting towards the end of the blast, and everyone was kind of, you know, cleaning up, but the blast wasn't quite over yet. And I was wandering around the kitchen area, and a mom with several small kids came up to me and said, "Can I give you a hug?" And she had tears in her eyes.
Aw.
And I probably do now. I had tears in my eyes, and she just wanted to hug somebody because she was so grateful for what we were offering and what we were able to do, because it you know, coming from where I come from, with never really having to want for anything, I've been so blessed to think that really people wouldn't have these things if we didn't do it was really impactful to me. So just knowing that they appreciate that so much, and it means so much.
Yeah.
Even though it feels like it's little things a lot of times to us.
Yeah.
I honestly don't really have a story.
Yeah.
Because
You're too busy to have stories.
I know, I am too busy to have stories. I'm working with the backpacks, and it's just hopefully organized chaos, but chaos it is. And I don't have like a second to really
No, you
reflect
don't.
at all, other than I do, since we've moved it to the event center, you can, where my station is, I can look over the event center, and it's just packed with people. And so that's a glad and a sad. It's a glad that, oh my gosh, look at all these people that are here and we're helping them. Sad in that, honestly, most of the people that attend, you feel like they're really needing that assistance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can only begin to touch of the economic situation in this county and what it will take to bring it into having not such a have and have not situation.
Right.
And
Right.
that to me is sad, but it's a start.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a start. And as you said, I know the Missions and Outreach Committee is trying to identify ways where we can go beyond where we're just giving things away. And can we help get to some of these root causes? Is there anything else we can do?
Yeah.
We're a long ways from that. But
Are any of the people who come to the blast connected to any of the other missions we do? Do we see some of them at fresh food distributions, or maybe we don't know, but I assume some of the children maybe benefit from our after school pack program too. That's kind of hard to say, but how many
Yeah.
people are touched in other ways other than the blast that maybe we don't even know yet?
Yeah, that's a good question. With the after-school PAC program, I am involved in that, and I know we don't know who those kids are. So unless someone were to make a comment, yeah, we wouldn't know. I have heard comments, because I don't participate in the fresh food program, but I have heard comments from some of those people that they've seen some of the same people at the blast. I don't know if you've heard that as well.
I've heard that kind of anecdotally as
Yeah,
well. I
yeah.
don't know that there's any data on that, but like she said, we have no idea after school pack. I'm sure that
Yeah, that
many
wouldn't
of
be
those
surprising.
families do overlap, and I think that fresh food as well. Yeah.
So moving on to the event itself, because it's coming up. It's July 1st today that we're recording, and it's on July 23rd. That's a Thursday at the American One Event Center. And is it from 3 to 7 p.m.? I
It
didn't write
is.
that down.
Yep, 3 to 7.
Perfect. What can people expect when they come to the event?
Well, they will probably, unfortunately at first, expect a very long line to get into the event center.
Yeah, people start lining up, I think, by 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And of course, parking is an issue. We're trying to keep the closest parking for our customers.
Yeah.
And so making our volunteers, the CAs, park as far away as possible.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
number one.
Yeah, and
is
we'll have
parking.
traffic control, which is a little bit more.
The vest and all.
Yeah, but once they're inside, they'll go through a registration process. There's some very basic data that's taken from them. We really just want to know the ages of the children, what school they attend, just for basic statistical purposes. It helps with some of our grant writing, for example, because we do request some grants for the
Okay.
blast. But we don't take personal information other than that. And so then they'll get a bingo card, and it's two-sided. The bingo card has a map of the event center, and on the back it has a list of all the community agencies that are giving away supplies. And so as the kids visit those different community agency tables, they'll get a stamp or a mark to check off a particular community agency. And they don't need to visit every one, they don't need to have the whole bingo card completed, but what's helpful to us is there's a place for them to put their first names and a phone number. And if they turn those bingo cards in at the end of the day with an answer to a couple survey questions, they'll be entered in a gift prize drawing.
Yes.
So-
Yeah.
So we like to get that feedback. We want to know from the participants, what did you like, what could we do better? So once they've got their bingo card, then they go see Penny.
Yeah, the most critical thing is probably the biggest improvement that we've made is when it was over in Blackman, they could come at us from all different directions, and we were under a 10 by 10 foot canopy.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I know, it just seems so like, what? How do we do that? And it was crazy because I won't go to the details. It was crazy. So now we have volunteers. They get assigned a station. We have 5 stations. And each family is assigned a station to kind of spread it out because otherwise they just come in and want to go to the first station. So we have volunteers that say, oh, you're a number 2 or you're a number 5, move on down. That was huge. So then we have a large variety of backpacks, a large variety, maybe too large, for elementary, both boys and girls, and then middle school and high school have larger backpacks.
And they're more generic, right?
And they're more generic, yeah. We find that we predominantly probably have 2/3 are elementary students, in other words, up to 5th grade, and then the other third are middle school and high school students that will come. And then we've tried to tailor their school supplies for what we believe students need.
Okay.
We were handing out pre-packaged, pre-bought school supply kits. Easy,
Yeah, very easy.
very easy. But some of it gets back to that whole idea of respect and dignity, in that why should they get substandard school supplies because they're economically challenged? So we looked into just buying the school supplies and putting them together ourselves, which is in many ways a nightmare. But
Definitely
now,
more work.
definitely more work. But now they get Crayola crayons, they get Crayola colored pencils, they get plastic folders, they get gel pens, because we asked, what do students need? And many of the things that we thought when we were growing up, or even when our children were growing up, aren't used anymore because so much of their work is done on computers. So an example of that is younger kids get headphones, older kids get earbuds, so that they have something to plug into their computers, where 20 years ago we wouldn't put that in. So we've tried to get good quality supplies and items that we think are really going to benefit their education, because the core is the better they're prepared for education, the better education they get, the better chance they're going to have in this world.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's at the core of everything. I mean, honestly, everything of your economics is making sure that your community is educated and has the best education possible. So we try, but there's some items that we just absolutely cannot afford to put in there. Markers would be one.
Yeah.
So my plea would be, if anybody wants to keep giving money, we can buy markers in the future.
Next year.
Your market,
Next
yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Next year.
Yeah.
How many volunteers does it take to put something like this together? How many do you have signed up?
I don't know how many are signed up currently, but last year I believe we had 130.
Okay.
And I think we'll end up with between 130 and 150.
Are
this
you in
year.
a place where you still need help
We are.
for this event?
We are.
Okay.
I know we're making good progress, but yeah, definitely if there's anyone who's interested, there's a variety of ways that people can help. So, some of it does involve some physical labor. You need someone who's pretty mobile and can maybe handle some strength-related duties. Some of them are, you can be seated and you can maybe direct people, or you can hand things out, and you can do that while you're seated. So even people with some physical limitations and mobility issues can help, and we can find a way to
Wonderful.
help you help.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Wonderful. How can anyone who wants to get involved? How would you like them to handle that piece of it?
Well, they can contact the church office, probably would be the best way, because there is a volunteer sign-up form that's really helpful for us to have filled out, so that way we have contact information and we know which of the items you'd like to participate in, and you can tell us if you have any limitations that we might need to take into consideration. And, very practically speaking, we all wear volunteer T-shirts on Blast Day so that we're visible to the rest of the group, so we need to know what T-shirt size you might want, so that's on the form. But yeah, probably the easiest way is the church office, and then if you have questions, they can connect anyone with Candy Pileski or any of the rest of us on the committee who are handling the volunteers.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think at this point, the two major items are when we organize and put together the school supply kits and put them in the backpacks, now all happening in one day. Let's be real clear about that. In one day, that's all
Yes.
happening. And then Blast Day are really the
Yeah.
last two
Right.
big things that we've had.
Yeah.
And I honestly, subsequently, I would hope if, just like Lynn and I, we went to the Blast and helped, just volunteers, and it spoke to us as something. We are looking for more people for a bigger commitment,
Okay.
whether it's on the teams or whatever, and we hope that the volunteers that come would be willing to be part of that, because I know I can't do backpacks forever. So that would be a good offshoot for people, we're hoping.
Yeah, I would love that. I would love to see this carry on and involve more than just our people, which it does. In volunteer world, it does involve some people from agencies, and I think one of the schools sends students
Yeah,
to
Lumen
us.
Christie
Okay.
has provided volunteers, yeah.
Yeah, it would be wonderful to see it continue to grow in that way.
Yep.
Let's talk real quick about the workshop coming up with the backpacks and the school supplies. That's July 16th, which is also a Thursday.
Yes.
Yes. Is that from 10 to 12?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think in 2 hours, I do believe we can get all 1,500 backpacks with school supplies inserted into the big plastic bag and put in a backpack and get it zipped up, because I've had a lot of volunteers work just on their own down here at church, taking the plastic off every single backpack that's there, and plastic off of different school supply items, so that all we have to do is get the plastic bags open, assembly line, putting them together, putting them in a backpack, and packing them away. So we're ready for that. But I think last year at that workshop we had about 40 people that showed up.
Wonderful.
So at least 40 people would be really helpful. We have it organized well enough that the more the merrier, and it's not so much chaos.
Okay.
Because it's a pretty simple process.
Okay.
So the more we can get on that day, the better. And usually people just show up. I mean, that's the miracle. That's the blessing, is that even if people aren't signed up, I turn around and all of a sudden there's 40 people standing in Fellowship Hall, ready and willing, honestly, to do God's work, because it speaks to people. And you ask for something directly, and people are willing to produce that and help and share their talents.
Yes, that is one thing I find a very big blessing here at Jackson First, is that we ask and it somehow the Holy Spirit moves and it happens. So that's wonderful. Well, perfect. So to recap, the workshop for Back to School Blast, the supply packing and backpack packing, is July 16th from 10 to 12. And then the Back to School Blast event itself is over at the American One Event Center from 3 to 7 on July 23rd. Those are both Thursdays coming up. But we hope that you'll join us, because it's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of good too. So thank you so much for being here with me today.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
for having us.
Of course. Thanks for spending some time with me today. If this episode encouraged you, share it with a friend or someone who might need it this week. And don't forget to follow along so you don't miss what's coming next. We'll see you back here soon in the in-between.